Hello, and welcome to Diaspora Weekly. I'm not going to say another edition because this is not just another edition. Neither is it a special edition because special editions are reserved for special occasions like elections. And this one I will call the impromptu version of Diaspora Weekly. Imagine you're sitting in your office and a knock on the door and you open it, and the surprise is that your Chinese correspondent decided to surprise you. And you know what? He surprised me, and I had one surprise of my own. If you're going to surprise me, I'm going to put you right here on that hot seat. So this is the impromptu version of Diaspora Weekly. But before you get to meet my guest, I think I've kind of let it up by saying Chinese correspondent. You probably know his name, but I'm not going to introduce him until we go to the jungle. So stay tuned for the jungle. We'll go to the jungle and we'll come back and we'll meet my guest for today. All right, so for today's jungle, I want to specifically highlight one country. This thing I'm about to talk about involves many other countries, but for today, somehow, I just want to pick on Lebanon a little bit. Now, why is it important? Ghana is home to many Lebanese, and they live the high life, okay? They're not exactly struggling or anything. The police do not harass them. And for the most part, Ghanaians treat them with dignity and respect. But when you go to Lebanon, the Ghanaian young ladies who work as house help in Lebanon, it's a completely different story. We know of situations of rape. We know of situations of abuse where they force these young ladies to work from 5 a.m. till evening. I know of one particular case because I spoke to her myself. When they are traveling, when the family is traveling, they will lock her inside the house and go wherever they're going for an entire weekend. This young lady does not have a way of getting out of the house. God forbid, if fire erupts in that house, she burns to death. This is the kind of treatment that our Ghanaian women are undergoing in Lebanon. Now, whenever there is such a disparity, we say, oh, well, they give us financial aid, so our politicians do not want to rock the boat and everything. What in the world is Lebanon giving to Ghana? How much loans are they giving us? And how much, what is Lebanon giving to Ghana that their citizens live in Ghana as kings and queens, but our citizens live there as servants and being abused? And better yet, we have reciprocal bilateral agreements between the two countries. What are our diplomats doing about it? Far be it for me to tell somebody how to do his or her job, but it seemed to me that if you're the Ghanaian diplomat or somewhere at the foreign ministry, where you're in charge of the welfare of Ghanaians in Lebanon, and you know this horrible treatment that they're going through, and you don't lift a finger, you don't say a word, especially when you know how Lebanese live in Ghana. Am I missing something? This is a question for the foreign ministry, the foreign minister, who's actually a friend of mine, and the diplomats involved in this. I don't see how they cannot do anything about it. And the fact that they've allowed something like this to go on for so long, I'm sorry, it needs to be taken care of. So for today, that's the jungle. If you're listening to us, that's the jungle. If you know somebody about it, let's see how we take care of this problem. The Lebanese here need to say something. They need to say something. They need to do something about this, because this disparity is not working for me, nor is it working for a lot of people. But we as Ghanaians, as usual, we want to be quiet about it because it hasn't happened to any family member, so it is okay. For me, that's not okay. This is Diaspora Network Television. We stand up for diasporans, and if Ghanaians are suffering in Lebanon, it is my business. Today, that's the jungle. We'll be right back.
It's a new season. 3 ladies, intriguing conversations from 3 different perspectives.
How many months does it take to pass even a bill? And everybody keeps saying, we'll get back to you.
Traffic everywhere, wasting people's time.
When are you getting back to us?
Time is money. And
Energy, wow.
It's the good, the bad, and the ugly. Only on DNT.
What's cool, fresh and trendy with a new look? Makes you feel real good, that refreshing vibe. Satisfies you right just the way you like. Do you know? Do you know? Do you know? You gotta do it alone. Specialized makes you flow. Anytime, anywhere. Specialized, feel different. Always think specialized. Special ice, natural mineral water. Feel different. Think special. This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
Hello, welcome back. I hope you enjoyed my little rant there about Ghana and Lebanon. Sorry, these things get to me. But today, it's an impromptu version of Diaspora Weekly. And my guest, well, when I knew him, he was Michael Amponsa. But today, he is Dr. Michael Amponsa. Welcome.
Thank you.
Very good, very good. Dr. Michael Amponsa has been the DNT correspondent from China for over a year. He is the one who broke the COVID-19 story when nobody else knew. I mean, people knew very little about it, but you gave us the constant updates, how Honorable Okujeto Ablakwa was saying, go and bring our people back. And you said, no, not necessarily, don't bring them back. And you showed us evidence as to how they were being taken care of. So really, I want to, before we go on, I really, really want to thank you for what you've done for DNT.
Welcome.
You've been our eyes and ears in China for a long time, and we appreciate that.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Sir. Thank you.
But now, I know you.
Okay.
But let's let the viewers know you. Who is Dr. Michael Amponsa?
Thank you very much. Dr. Michael Amponsa is a young, sort of ambitious gentleman who was given birth in Ahafo, Hwidim, in the Ahafo region, born to Mrs. Cecilia Newman, a midwife in practice.
Oh, she, your mother's a midwife?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in a situation like that, who supervised your birth?
Well, another midwife.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, virtually before my delivery, she was a community health nurse.
Okay.
And so she rose through the ranks.
Okay.
Currently in service. And to my dad, Mr. Lawrence Amponsa.
Okay.
A poultry farmer in Techiman. And so that's how I've come with a sibling. I'm the eldest of 3. And then the only guy among 2 ladies.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So hold on. You have two sisters?
Yes, please.
And how far away from you in terms of age?
Age, just 3 years.
3 years.
Yes. With the younger one is about 16 to 17 years.
All right. Yes. So growing up with 2 girls.
Yeah.
Anyway, you're
you know
a big
what?
Boy.
The younger one, the one just right after me, is also a medical doctor.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Trained here or?
Trained in Russia.
In Russia?
Yeah.
What's it about you guys and socialist and communist countries?
Well,
Aren't there medical schools in Ghana and UK and all those? But those
true.
are expensive.
Well, to some extent, I think it's all about affordability,
Affordability,
and
okay.
availability.
Okay.
As and when you need it.
Yeah.
If you have it, then we give in the chance.
So you didn't go to university here in Ghana?
No,
Okay.
but I attended a nursing training college.
College.
I completed,
Okay.
trained here, and worked for about 5 years.
Oh, okay. Where'd you work at?
At German South
Okay.
District, Drobo to be precise. St.
That's in a
Mary's
western
Hospital.
region?
No,
Huh?
Bono.
German. Okay, yeah, that's Bono.
Before German North,
Okay.
before Sampa. So
Okay.
from Brekum, you get to Drobo
Okay.
before Sampa.
Very
I
good.
worked there from 2010
Okay.
till I left Ghana in 2014, May.
May 2014.
Yeah.
Okay.
To study
In China.
medicine in China.
Wow.
Yeah.
So why China and why medicine?
Well, first of all, medicine, because when I started nursing, I felt I was limited. There were certain things I felt I should be able to do.
Okay.
Even there, then when I was a nurse, during off duties, I would come back to the emergency ward, try to help the doctor on duty, because by then we were just running 2 doctors for that whole district hospital.
Wow.
2. And so they'll be in the theater, and I'll tell them, okay, my boss then, Dr. Ayim, I'll tell him, I would want to go to the OPD to see patients on your behalf.
Yeah.
Yes, then he will tell me, well, but if there is any case you think should be discussed, you have to call me. I said, okay, thank you, sir. So I'll go, and then I'll see the OPDs, the malaria, the diarrhea.
So this is natural for you. This is just from inside. It's not about the money.
Exactly, that's what I feel. Because even before I started nursing, people said, oh, your mom is a nurse, so you want to virtually get into nursing. I said, no, that's not. Practically, I wanted to be a lawyer. I wanted to.
That was my next question. So did they, I mean, okay, so you've answered it.
Yeah,
Okay.
so after secondary school, I tried once, twice, I wasn't getting it. My mom said, hey, let's start this, okay? I think you've been around, you've seen us do this. So, but I developed interest for medicine in nursing. That's the interest.
Okay.
So I had the interest for medicine whilst I
you
was
were a
being
nurse.
trained as a nurse.
Okay.
So in practice, I just had the thing of...
So your mom is still practicing?
Yeah, it's still
okay.
practicing.
And your dad is still...
My dad is still a farmer.
Wow. I guess growing up, farming didn't cross your mind at all.
It did at a point. When I completed JSS, I think I had good grades, especially in agric.
Okay.
And so my dad felt, well, that's him.
So that was a tug of war.
Yes.
Your father was pulling you to agriculture.
Well,
Wow.
so, and I had elder brothers from the extended family who were also studying agriculture at the university, UCC, Mampon, UDS, and the like. So sometimes I felt, well, why don't I get into agriculture? And then, but then the pool kind of thing, mom, dad.
Mom won.
Maybe.
So are you a mother's boy, a mama's boy, or
to some extent?
To some
yes,
extent,
because the only boy.
So okay, so mama was like a pool.
Yeah.
So invariably, the girls are also daddy's girls. So what?
Probably yes, but then again, the younger, the one right after me is also
she
a
went
doctor.
to medicine.
So
your father lost out. None of you did.
Maybe the younger one will go after him.
The one that's 16.
Yeah.
16.
No,
young
12,
lady.
Even 12.
12?
Yeah.
A 12-year-old young lady is
Yeah.
going to go into agriculture.
Probably.
Good luck with that. Good luck with that.
Yeah.
That is so not going to happen. And so, so how did you get to China?
Well, I had a friend that was date back in primary school. He had gone to China to have a master's degree in economics. And so I used to chat with him on Facebook. Then he says, Michael, why don't you try out medicine? You are there, you've been telling me about your interests. So come on, I can do the application for you. I said, really? Okay, get me the requirements. So he sent the requirements, and they were something I thought I could easily get it.
Okay.
By then, we hadn't been given our transcript.
Okay.
So I had to go back to my nursing training, education, and get all my report sheets, semester by semester, to make sure I use that for a medical school application. So Martin, he helped me throughout this
You're still
process.
in touch with him?
He's still in China.
Oh, wow.
And you know that something? When I went to China for 7 years, I never met him.
What? Wait, so the contact broke
We
or what?
spoke every day
Oh,
in
but you
China.
never met him.
I know he might be watching.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he must be in a different province.
A different province, Shandong, far north.
That far,
Yeah.
from physically very far from
Physically,
you.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And he's now teaching kids
Wow.
with a master's
Okay, and
degree.
he must have been there for quite a while.
Yeah, he went there 3 years and I joined
maybe,
him. So
okay.
he's almost a decade in China.
Very good. All right, so tell us about, eventually you got approved.
Yes.
And then what happened?
You would have to get a visa. So the interviews, I was scheduled for an interview at the Chinese embassy.
Okay.
And then again, it was another war. They didn't understand why a nurse, you are practicing, you are being paid. Why are you going to China?
Yeah.
And then again, you know, for diplomatic issues, I would have to meander my way, tell them, hey, gentlemen, your guys are here.
Yeah.
They can speak English. And so I need to go to China, learn the language, and come to help them when they are sick.
So you speak very good Chinese?
Oh, yes. I
Fluently?
Fluent.
And you can write those things that...
On phone, I can. If I'm chatting, that's what I do with the Chinese. I chat
Really?
with them, yeah, with the characters.
If you have a pen and paper, you can also...
Not pen and paper, but on a phone.
On a phone,
Because
okay.
when I can recognize the characters.
The characters,
And so
okay.
once I see this is like, means come, I will know.
Okay.
This means chew, go, I know.
Wow.
Everything. Yeah.
Interesting. And so once you got approved, if there's any youngster watching right now who's
Okay.
also aspiring to go to China
Okay.
to study, what would you tell them?
Well, it's now most of these Chinese universities are online. You
Okay.
go online, you search for a particular university, and then you contact them. But the issue again is language. So most of the Chinese universities, they deal through agents. And that's where, that's also another issue. These agents, some of them will take huge sums of monies from these unsuspected, people who want to get in there. At the end of the day, you get to China and the school is not even existing.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's happened before?
Yes, it happened several times.
And who's supposed to control that?
Well, the issue is China is not like Russia. In Russia, if you get admission, the embassy will write the name of the school on the visa. So once you are leaving Kotoka International Airport, you know that this is my destination. The embassy is aware.
Yeah.
But China is not saying.
Okay, so this is somebody else sat in this very seat and told me. You heard of Wodemaya?
Yeah, what am I? Yeah.
He had a similar experience when he got to China
Okay.
with his visa, and he got there and he ended up like miles away from. I mean, hundreds of miles away from where he was supposed to go,
be.
and he didn't have money.
Okay.
So, but in your case, I take it you were lucky.
Yeah, because my friend, my Asian older
Okay.
friend was there. So he arranged everything. And interestingly, I didn't get to China with a medical school admission. Because I told them I'm going to learn the language.
Oh, okay.
So I went with a Chinese language admission.
Okay.
Then I got to China. I had to search for a medical school.
Okay.
And then the weather, I arrived in Beijing somewhere May 2014. And the weather was, wow, the winter. So I told them, is there any possible place you guys could change so that I could, Then there was the NUC's president then. He said, oh, I've been to Hainan. That place is just like Ghana. It's an island.
Okay.
So maybe we could try. So he called the school, and the school said, yes, if I'm in China, they could admit me.
Okay.
But don't forget, it was in May.
Okay.
So it meant that I would have to stay on campus, pay fees, but without lectures, from May to September. because they haven't started admission for the next academic year.
Okay.
So I came on campus, and that was when I started learning the Chinese language.
Okay.
I wake up.
How did you pay for
the fees?
Yeah.
Yeah, the first year, you know, I was a nurse and I was also a taxi driver.
Okay.
And so I had saved, and my parents added up onto it. So I left, and then by God's grace, I was able, by then it was around $5,000.
Okay.
Yeah. I paid, then September, all my other colleagues came on board.
Okay.
And I was fortunate. I had about 10 to 12 Ghanaians as classmates in 2014 in the same university, same program, same class.
Okay.
And so that helped
Very good.
to some extent.
Very good.
Yeah.
All right. So now we've taken you from Ghana. We've put you on a plane to China.
Yeah.
So we're gonna go on a quick break. When we come back, we will talk about life in China as a student, and all that goes around with it, because I know that you have a mouthful to say there.
Thank you.
This is the impromptu version of Diaspora Weekly. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
As the national regulator of the communications industry in Ghana, the National Communications Authority seeks to ensure an environment that is safe and fair for consumers and service providers. NCA grants licenses and authorizations for operation of communication systems and services, develops guidelines to streamline communication activities, establish and monitor quality of service indicators for operators and service providers. NCA is in 8 regions: Accra, Tamale, Takoradi, Kumasi, Ho, Koforidua, Sunyani, and Bolgatanga. Do you have unresolved complaints with your service providers? Contact us on 0800110662, 0307011419 between the hours of 8 o'clock a.m. and 5 o'clock p.m. from Monday to Friday, or visit our website at www.nca.org.gh and follow the procedure for filing a complaint or submitting enquiry. National Communications Authority. Communications for Development.
Hello and welcome back. This is Impromptu Diaspora Weekly, and this is a new one. I mean, we just decided to have it and we're on. But I couldn't be any prouder for you with what you told me from the beginnings and getting to China. And when you got there, you weren't just what word am I looking for here? A timid student.
Yeah.
You were very outspoken and everything. Why? How come you were able to do that, but others chose not to speak about anything?
Well, I think the issue is about the language.
Okay.
In China, if you want to deal with the Chinese, you have to understand their culture.
Okay.
It's paramount. If you want to deal with any Chinese around you, know how he thinks, his way of life, then you can go through.
So tell us about the culture. I mean, the interactive culture, right?
Well,
what if I meet a Chinese, what do I need to know about him?
Yes, you should know that the Chinese will not give you anything free.
Really?
Yeah. There is nothing free.
No free lunch.
Yes. When a Chinese is getting up onto you, he's smiling, he's happy, he wants to be with you, he has identified something you might not even be aware of. So you must look around you and find out, what is this person seeking after? Then you can know how to relate with this person.
So when they come here and give us all these loans.
Oh, come on. No. China doesn't give anything for free. Yes. And so when you have that mindset, you know, China, for example, if in Ghana or in Africa, if we want to give scholarship to students, if you are the proprietor, whom will you give to? Brilliant but needy, right? China is not so.
Why?
Because they think that if someone is not paying fees, that person is not a good student.
Whoa.
Yeah, yes.
Say that again.
I'm saying in China, if we are in a class and we want to give people scholarship by merit, okay, and I'm a student who doesn't pay my fees on time, I will forfeit that scholarship. They would rather prefer giving it to someone who obeys rules, pay the fees on time. And so you might be struggling to pay the fees.
But you're the brightest student.
But you are the brightest student.
But they don't care.
They will not see that as a bright student. Your struggle to pay fees to them would be sort of a recalcitrant or someone who doesn't obey rules. And so if someone's parents pays fees or someone does some jobs and other things to get the fees paid on time, that person stands the chance of getting scholarship better than you.
What I'm hearing from you then is that
Yeah,
money trumps everything in China.
exactly.
And excuse me, if you're a viewer, I'm sorry I used the word Trump, okay? so money is everything in
Yeah,
China.
money first.
All right.
Because when you have money, everything is possible.
Okay.
Everything is possible.
And you said speaking Chinese is also paramount.
Yeah, paramount. Because if you can't communicate with them, they, in the first place, they are learning the English language, but it's with the kids. The adult generation are not so much interested in trying to learn someone's language. When you meet them and you are adding maybe friendship, it will not be WhatsApp, it will not be Facebook, it will be WeChat, which is a Chinese version, but thankfully WeChat has a translation sort of version. And so when the person writes in Chinese, you can translate into English. When you write in English, he or she would also translate into Chinese.
Okay.
Yeah.
So tonight,
Yeah.
I'm sure by the time this interview airs, it would have passed. But The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, which is one of our flagship shows.
Yeah.
One of the subject of discussion today is about patriotism.
Okay.
Ghanaians and our patriotism to Ghana.
Yeah.
You are a Ghanaian, born and raised here.
Yeah.
You've lived in China for 6 years.
Yeah.
Can you describe the two people and their level of patriotism to their respective country? I'm talking about Ghana, Ghanaians to Ghana and Chinese to China.
Well, thank you. I think the Chinese patriotism is uncomparable. So much so high that you have seen these videos around. Policeman will be with a flag of China. He'll be crossing a road, it will fall down, okay? Then it will be raining. He will beg the cars that my little Chinese flag with the 7 stars had fallen. So please wait, let me pick it up. He will pick it up, clean it, put it on before the cars moves.
Okay.
So it tells you.
Okay. Now, I see a very good argument about patriotism.
Yeah.
But then not such a good argument about rules. For a country that obeys rules to the tilt,
Yeah.
you're crossing. The light is green for the cars. Why
Yeah.
should the car stop for you to pick whatever
That
it
is
is?
another subject for discussion. But then to them, the flag reigns supreme.
So then, if it's not the flag that fell down, maybe if it's your phone that fell.
Then it would have just, the cars would have just
Oh,
gone
really?
without- Yeah.
So the driver sees that it's your flag that fell.
Yes.
So they
the
will
China flag.
flag.
That's it.
Yeah. But if it was anything else, they will go, Pepe, get out of the way.
And you know something
Wow.
interesting. You know, they don't practice our kind of democracy. You understand? That's communism and others. For them, the ordinary Chinese do not care what the GDP is, what goes into the market, what's on the stock exchange. Once he has accommodation, he's able to find himself, he has a place to sleep, food, that's okay. The rest is for government. All right?
Are they ostentatious people?
Well, to some extent, but you know, the government and the laws, how they've been, I don't, for lack of a better word, I will use manipulated, advisedly.
Okay.
That's how they've become. And so if they are being told, even where we are in Hainan, when they are going to have the economic, meetings every year, the Chinese president comes to the province. You'll be there, all foreigners, they'll text you a message. Send us your location where you are. When the Chinese president is coming to the province, you can't even change your status on social media.
Really?
Yes.
Why?
For security reasons.
It's changing my picture on my...
My WeChat is not yours.
But the page is mine.
Well, to some extent. But then, even when certain discussions are going on, you could be blocked. You can. That's why we don't even talk about their national issues.
Okay.
Because they are so much conserved. They want it about themselves. They will tell you, you are welcome to our China.
Okay.
Okay. When you need like that, woman, Zhongguo, woman, our China. So everything about the Chinese is about making money. It's about making China great again, China strong, and that's what their focus about. China first.
So whereas a Ghanaian public official may dabble in some type of corrupt activity, not to eat, not for a meager place to eat, but to put up a mansion.
Okay.
So that everybody will know that, hey, this is Jermaine Nkrumah's mansion.
Oh, yeah.
In China, you're saying that they don't care about those grandiose things.
They do. That grandiosity is available. But to them, they get punished when they are caught. You understand? And these life sentences, these, you know, just like prison here, that's how they deal with corruption. But they also practice in these kind of deals, these things we see in Africa. But with them, the Chinese feel that if I meet you, I want to do something with you. It's not about exchanging envelopes or what about. It's food first. Let's get to dinner. Let's go for lunch. Okay? And so for the money he would have given you in an envelope, he would go and spend it in a restaurant. So that about 3-4 people will be around table.
In China?
In China.
Why do they give brown envelopes here in Ghana?
Well, it's about the culture. They've seen that here, regardless of the jollof rice, the fufu you buy for you, you will still need the money. So they have learned what the people here, the culture here.
So they don't do that in their country?
No, openly. Because one thing is that most of these offices have these tiangong, these cameras. Okay? So you could easily be found out. And they don't even accept gifts easily. You'll be giving him something like a tape or something, then you tell you, no, please, we don't do that here. But they do it in private. They do some of these things.
When they come to your house and everything.
And your house.
So would you say theirs is a forced patriotism or it's a natural type of patriotism?
Well, it's not natural. Because when you leave them, whenever the laws are sort of loosed a bit, the ordinary Chinese can be very, very, very mischievous.
Oh, really? Against China?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, some of them they would. So it's because of the systems in place. They are teaching their kids and their generations to sort of have that kind of patriotism for their country.
Okay.
And, you know, they wish they could, you know, contribute to discussions globally. But you know that even in China, before I could even have interviews on WhatsApp and what have you, I needed a VPN before. When I got to Kotoka, I could have WhatsApp messages without VPN. I said, wow. That brief, that's
I think for me, I'm a dinosaur when it comes to IT. So all those things. But clearly, it looks like your everything you type on your phone is monitored in China.
Exactly, it sends it.
All right. So you know about the Ghanaian culture. Granted, you've been away for about 6 years. But what you know about Ghana, how do you contrast that patriotism to our level of patriotism in Ghana?
Well, I think that the ordinary Ghanaian also want to look at what he will get. You know, there is this perception that so sometimes we sort of scramble things onto our side. And so we forget the corporate entity Ghana, because we think that, well, Ghana is for leadership or Ghana is for its leaders. But I think it's about time we take Ghana for what it is for ourselves. Because when I came home, at the airport, Kotoka, I told my friends who picked me up that, hey, I've been able to log into 1 or 2 places without my passport being taken. I was like, wow,
Passport being taken?
Like, you know, I should, before I lodge in somewhere, I should, I was expecting that at least you should know who has come in from where, especially in this global pandemic. You know, I was expecting something of a sort. But for example, if we
Are you talking about like hotel or
yeah,
okay.
lodge.
So
Yeah,
when
I
you walk
expect-
into any hotel,
probably name, phone number,
Yeah.
but I think we should go a step ahead
Further,
of that.
right.
Okay. If I'm having a sort of a passport, you
Yeah.
should know the time of entry.
Yeah.
So that if tomorrow someone comes in here looking for, we would know that this
Okay.
guy was
That's
here.
an interesting thing. I haven't thought about that. That when you go to a hotel, you just give them here in Ghana,
Yeah.
right? And now we have the Ghana card and passport. Maybe
Yeah.
that's what's coming. That's the reason.
Yeah,
why they
that
did all
should be
these, yeah.
one of the things we should be
Okay.
looking at.
All right, let's go on a quick break. When we come back, we're going to look into China and COVID, because you were there when it started.
Yeah, that's true.
Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
We wake up every morning to different stories from politics, business, sports, and entertainment. These stories, one way or the other, affect our lifestyle and dealings with family, friends, and business associates. Your take on Diaspora Network Television gives you an opportunity to have your take on these pertinent issues via phone in and messages to our social media platforms, DNT Ghana on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. If it's an important trending story, we will definitely talk about it. Your take with me, Yasichi, on DNT.
Hello and welcome back. This is Diaspora Weekly. My name is Jermaine Nkrumah and I'm joined by Dr. Michael Amponsa. Dr. Amponsa has been our long-time DNT correspondent out of China. Anything that goes on in China, he has tentacles everywhere, in different provinces. But now he's back. He's finished his doctorate program and he's back, and he's kind enough to join us here. COVID-19.
Yeah.
It started in a city called Wuhan.
Wuhan. Yeah.
Tell us about it, because you were right there. How did it blow up like that? Take us from the beginning. Let's say the first time you heard of anything called coronavirus.
Thank you. I think I had a message. It was a WeChat message. WeChat is a mobile application like WhatsApp. But in China, if you don't have WeChat, you are not in China.
Okay.
Because we use it for payment, for communication, for almost. I had a message that there is an outbreak. And even in the beginning, they were describing it as a high fever kind of thing in the beginning. And so people were calling the African community. Have you heard about this? They said we shouldn't go out. So we started getting onto the news to find out what the issues were. And so we had various platforms from our universities, from different kinds of locations. And so we were told that there is a market in Wuhan. I had been to Wuhan twice. Even in that year, 2019, I was in Wuhan somewhere in February. And so when they said, I had a picture of their train station, the airport, and I was like, how did this thing broke out? And so the moment we could say, Jack, it was like, hey, you guys cannot go outside, you should check what you eat. And so they were even saying that people who like to eat bat meat. And so that was how the fear started coming about, because the ordinary Chinese virtually eats everything, you know. But let me put on record that these frogs and toads that people do say, they are expensive, that you can't even buy them.
Wait.
In the first place. Oh yeah,
Okay.
yeah. The snakes, you can buy them.
Really?
Yes. You can just.
Who would want to buy a snake?
Really?
Who would want to buy a frog?
Well,
Don't they have a crantier and all those things?
Crantier? No. No, grass cutter meat, no. But you can have sometimes antelope and some of those meat, but in the villages. But with this, our goat, our ponche, you can have them. The yang roe, new roe, the beef, they have it.
So let me get this straight. In China, goat meat is cheaper than frog meat.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry. This is an interview. Okay, go ahead. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
so virtually, if you don't have the sort of the means to purchase snake, dogs, and what kind
Dog.
Oh, yeah.
No,
but
I mean,
you know, they are not part of the usual staple. Like if a Chinese family invites you to a dinner, you don't expect to find dog meat or on that table. The usual meat will be chicken, will be beef, will be. But if they know you,
if you're special,
yes,
they'll
if
give
you're
you dog.
special. But they will ask you. You know, they think all of us are Muslims, and though they know Muslims do not eat pork. So when he meets you, he asks you, Michael, can you take pork? Or some of them will find
No,
a
I'm
nice
trying
way.
to wrap my mind around the fact that if I don't know you, I don't care about you, I'll give you chicken.
Yeah.
No, don't forget. When we were young, chicken was only for Christmas. That
Yeah.
was so in China. If you don't care for me, you give me chicken. But if I'm high profile, you
Yes.
give me dog, you give me frog,
It will
you
be
give me
part,
snake.
Yes. If I'm a
Okay.
visitor.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Go ahead
Even
with
with my last visit to a city, a small county called Lengshu, a family invited me, and I saw vegetables, I saw everything, but there was only one kind of meat.
which was
I didn't know, and I wanted to find a nice way of
saying,
asking that what was it. Then, thanks be to God, the woman told the child, "Oh, hello, Nilai Najega Goro, dog meat."
hey.
So then I said, "Oh,
You
wow,
became a vegetarian.
really? Wow, you are smart."
Okay, so if you were to play it safe, when you go to China, from the airport until you come back, be a vegetarian because you never know what you're going to.
Yeah,
But
sure.
go ahead with the coronavirus. 'Cause
So
that was-
so they gave us this information about it, and personally because of my program, and then I had started internship at the first affiliate hospital in High Coast City. So when I went, I asked my immediate boss, "I've heard there is an outbreak." He said, "Oh, not here." That's what he told me, "Not here." I said, "But in China." He said, "Yeah, Wuhan is far, don't worry. You can come to work." Then about 3 to 4 days, we had a circular from the hospital that foreigners should not continue the internship. So what was the issue? Then we started raising eyebrows. We saw that something is happening.
Yeah.
Personally, I thought probably there was something they were concealing at the workplace that they wouldn't want us to see. Not knowing it was something all over. So when this lockdown started, you know, Wuhan was locked at the first. And so Ghanaian students and, you know, Africans in Wuhan, I have friends. On my WeChat, I have almost about 5,000 contacts on it. And so people started sending messages. We are locked in our schools. We don't have food. We don't. So we started making calls. And by that time, I tell you, His Excellency Edward Boateng was just on top of issues. And that's something that really helped some of us. Even far in Hainan, when we hadn't even recorded a single case, we even had this rice and oil from the government of Ghana.
Good. So the images that you sent us, where you guys were locked in some kind of hall with provisions and everything, those came from the government of Ghana.
Very
good.
Yeah.
And so, what did you guys think when the opposition, specifically Ablakwa, was making noise about go and bring the boys home? How did you guys take that message over there?
You know, for those in Wuhan, they felt it was okay. They needed to leave Wuhan. Okay. But for me, in China, in Hainan, a medical student, I felt it was totally wrong to bring them out of Wuhan. Because already there is a lockdown. And don't forget that time, it was spreading all over the world. Why was it spreading, if you ask me? It was because of the evacuation.
Yeah, people were
carrying. Okay?
Yes, actually we did a special on that. The countries that evacuated their citizens from China were the first to grab them.
Good.
I think France,
Italy was
United States.
Yes, Germany. And you know something? As at that time, even the incubation period that we knew then was 14 days. Right? And so what they would do is you do a PCR test, you do, when I say PCR, it's just polymerase chain reaction test. It's just one of the high-level tests we use in detecting this virus.
Please say it again. The PCR, I've heard it a million times. I don't know what it stands for.
It's polymerase chain reaction.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
And so that is how come people were doing this test and others. But then, don't forget, if you are incubating as at the time of the test, it could be negative. It won't show.
Yeah.
You enter the flight, somebody will cough, sneeze, or something.
That's it.
You contacted them.
Yeah.
So by then, somebody will be leaving China with a negative status, but might probably contract it through the transmission belt when you were leaving, or even on the flight.
Yeah.
When you get to your country, you are quarantined and need to show.
Yeah.
So that was how come.
Then there was the time when the Chinese tried to push it on foreigners, specifically Africans.
Yeah.
Tell us. And so, were they pushing it on all foreigners, or were they pushing it on just Africans, as if those were the ones who brought them in?
It was Africans, to be blunt about it. It was Africans, because there were people who were not of this dark skin. They were not receiving the treatment the blacks were receiving. The images, the videos you saw, they were true. Some of them, I spoke to them. I had colleagues who, their landladies and landlords even told them their contract had ended.
But why would the Chinese lie to themselves if they knew how this disease came about in Wuhan, in the marketplace in Wuhan, China? Why would they, for publicity or public relations? That's in denial. It's like, I'm sick. I'm the one suffering, but I'm going to say you are the one sick. How does that make sense? What were they trying to achieve? That tells you,
that brings about the classical difference between the Chinese, ordinary Chinese citizens and the Chinese leaders. You understand?
The difference. Okay.
The difference is that these perpetrations were being meted out by the citizens. Okay? What they are being told is what they do. I told you, I sent a news coverage when a news portal in China had reported that Ghana was having about 30,000 deaths of COVID. I said, wow. So I shared it across all Ghanaian platforms and said, hey, report this portal.
Okay, so could that have, that particular thing, was it a government?
No, it wasn't a government. It was
probably a
mischievous person who did that. And it was in Chinese.
And they take it and run with it.
Yes. So he says that some of them, when they ask you, okay, where are you from? You say, I'm from Ghana, West Africa. You say, oh, you know, China is now safe. It's better you are here. Even when I bought my ticket, okay, I told some few friends, I'm going back home. He said, hey, you can come back to China. I said,
so today, they still believe the disease is running wild in Africa?
Yes.
But
they think we are dying on the streets. They think we are so much in pain. And you know one thing. You remember there was a donation, I think from Alibaba or so. There was something that came. They will take these images of these relief items and say, you see, they are dying.
That's why we are going to them.
We are going to their aid. Okay, so the ordinary Chinese will think that, oh, these guys, they are hungry, they are so, they don't have medication, they are that kind of thing.
So I think the Chinese government does so to look good in front of their people.
Good.
And then the people take that wrong message, and that's how they treat everybody.
Exactly. So you will tell them you are safe here, security-wise, you know. And some of them, they will be mentioning some countries. That here, have you seen a gun in China? No, we don't possess guns. Interesting, last 2 years, I went for a program. When the guy met me, he started searching me. I said, what for? He said, I want to see if you have a gun. Me or Chianma. I said, wow. Gun for
they
what?
Believe we're all packing.
Yeah.
Then what would they think about Texans?
That is the issue. They watch these American movies and the black Americans, they see gun violence. So when they see any black, they think from the word.
So we'll chalk that under ignorance. But before we go, how should African leaders deal with Chinese leaders and Chinese in their country? And you're coming at it from the standpoint of how Africans are treated in China. If you had the ear of the president of Ghana, Somalia, Uganda, what would you tell them?
Thank you. I think that the issue should be simple. How Africans are treated there should be the same way. It should just be a replicate. We should replicate that gesture to them. In China, you cannot own a land as a foreigner. No. That would demand, even with these companies. I was telling you, after my internship, I registered a company. I was trying to do these medical supplies and others. At a point, even to give me a working visa became an issue. Hey, you've been here almost 7 years. Go back home. I said, yes, home is better. I understand that home. But now there are no flights. If I get a flight today, I will leave China today. Maybe tomorrow I might have something doing in China. I may be back. But for now, I know I have to go back home. Okay? They paint a picture as if, you know, they are on top of. But I tell you, there are most areas of lives we are better. Seriously. I have traveled out of the 23 provinces, I've traveled through 17 of them. I've gone through about 110 cities in China for the past 7 years.
What about rural areas?
Rural areas have been there.
Okay.
My last city before I came to Ghana, Lengshui, is the typical rural area.
So compare, you are a half a boy.
Yeah.
You say you were born where?
Hwidiam.
Hwidiam, okay.
Yeah.
Compare Hwidiam to the village.
Lengshui. The difference is that the roads, their local authorities would give them the infrastructure they want or they deserve. You understand? They will have the malls, the way of life. The government to build, you know, affordable housing for them. So at the end of the day, whatever someone living in the city would have, the person down there would. And you know, the standard and the cost of living goes down when you are living in the villages.
Okay.
Yes. If you buy a bottle of water probably for 2 yuan in Guangzhou or Shanghai or Beijing, it might be probably 1.5 or less in the village.
Okay.
So those are some of the parameters you could actually
But you did say that in some ways Ghana here is better than there.
They also have poverty. They also have people who cannot afford daily meal.
I mean, poverty is in every country, we know that.
Yes.
But for the overall,
yeah.
I mean, we see skyscrapers,
that's
4
what
or
they
5
show
level.
you.
Yes.
That's what they show
so
you.
So what is in China that we don't see?
You don't see people on the streets begging. You don't see homeless sleeping on their street.
Who are Chinese?
Who are Chinese. They are there.
Is it very prevalent though?
Yeah, in the villages, they are there. There are people, and you know, the illiteracy there. There are people who cannot write the Chinese language. They never attended and they didn't have formal education. Those people are there, and that's why they use those guys for the construction works. You see 50 years, 60 years, they'll be carrying the cement, the mortar. They'll be doing the hard labor. They'll give them food. And you know one thing, because they are all centrally controlled. You know, in China, from 12 o'clock in the afternoon to 3 p.m., it's a break, the whole country.
Whoa.
Yeah. Even the police goes on break.
So what happens?
What? Yeah, you should rest.
So if I slap you between 12 and 3, there will not be any police officers?
If I call the police at that time, they will respond and come. Because that's an exceptional situation, you understand. But everyone is sort of, they go by that. And these are laws. And you know, all the provinces in China, they have their city government, their provincial government, and so they can enact laws that will suit them. You remember last 2 years in Guangxi province, Ghana embassy blacklisted Guangxi. If you were a Chinese from Guangxi, you couldn't come to Ghana without visa free from the previous government. You needed to go to Beijing and get a visa. Why? Because they were doing a whole lot of stuff here in Ghana.
If you were appointed ambassador to China right now, what changes would you be able to effect?
Well, for me, I think that we will have to go back to the drawing table. The win-win approach is what should come for all. All right?
Everything should be reciprocal.
It should be reciprocal. Because what they are having here, they are making money here, they are happy here, the business environment is good. Foreigners, and for that matter, Ghanaians in China should have that opportunity.
And
some of them struggling for visa.
And if they won't give it to Ghanaians,
well, then Ghana should be able to say, hey, enough is enough. If you are not giving us, we are not giving you this. We are doing a repatriation. Okay, and that's why, personally, I'm happy with some of the deals we are having with them, like the Sino-Hydro. If I look at it critically, I see that, well, this is a well-thought-through idea. All right? We need roads. Yes, we have something. We have bauxite. Okay, come, do the roads. We will do an equivalent of that route and give you that
the equivalent bauxite.
Exactly.
That's the way you should.
So with that, you don't even have to determine. If you do a bad road, that means that amount
we'll give you bad bauxite.
Not even bad bauxite. We'll give you a less bauxite.
But you know about Zambia.
Yeah.
Zambia. you know what they call? The citizens call it Chambia.
Okay.
So what do you think Chambia is doing wrong?
Well, I think that for Zambia, maybe, excuse me for these words, I think probably we might have to look at Zambia again as a continent. Probably, because they are really suffering. The currency, as at now, I have friends I completed with from Zambia, and it's sad if you look at the way these guys have taken over that country. It's sometimes people say, oh, they will be all over Africa. I said, no, not my country.
Yeah.
My country, no. Ghana won't accept that.
Well, I want to thank you. I think you've given us an insight into China that before I sat here today, I didn't know. And so I want to thank you again for giving us such good representation, excellent correspondent from China. And now you've even topped it up and showed us China in a way that we now know. But let me close up by saying in Zambia, recently there was a mayor of Lusaka. He inspected a Chinese facility and saw how the Chinese were treating the locals.
Yeah.
And he got so visibly upset that he said he took their license from the wall and said, I'm going to close your business down. We can't allow Chinaman to come to Ghana. But apparently the word Chinaman was offensive. Do you know that the president of Zambia forced the mayor of Lusaka to call a press conference and apologize to the Chinese community for using the word Chinaman? Okay, this of course is the same Zambia where a Chinese store. There's a Zambia guy dating a Chinese girl. They are both entering the store in Zambia.
Yeah.
A Chinese store in Zambia. And the owner is like, no, you can't come in. So the girlfriend was allowed to enter, but the guy was not allowed to enter inside Zambia. So if you're watching us, and I know, thank God, DNT is present in 24 African countries. So you might be watching us from Nigeria, Angola, wherever you're watching us from. Look, I'm not here to bash the Chinese. I don't hate them. Lord, I don't hate anybody. But what I hate is when someone treats me badly, despite the fact that I'm treating the person nicely. And so from what you're saying, I think the word that came out of this interview is that it is well past time that African leaders start looking at the definition of reciprocity. Reciprocity. You give me A, I give you A. You give me 1, I give you 1. It cannot be that someone gives you 1 and you give them 10. That time is long overdue. It's over. And if we cannot develop backbone to look at the people that we're dealing with and say, look, enough is enough, then you know what? We got everything else that's coming to us. This has been a great edition of Diaspora Weekly.
Thank you.
Dr.
Thank you, sir.
Michael Amponsa, thank you. And you, thank you for watching. Stay tuned for our other programming.